All right, everyone, welcome into the market update. And my name is Paul Barron. I'll be giving you guys a rundown today. And of course, one of the things we will be hitting on is the Bitcoin price. We'll also take a look at what altcoins could be moving and may be affected by the election. And I'll also give you guys a couple of trades that I've been making. So stick around. You don't want to miss any of this for sure. Let's get into a couple of changes over on the website. When you go to our main website, one thing you'll notice is a change to our membership categories. And it's pretty simple. The Diamond Circle is our free membership. Market Movers is the one where you get the index as well as the indicator, which is writing on TradingView. I'll show that to you guys today as we take a look at some coins. And then, of course, the Foundation member, that's direct access to me, access to our very early videos and some of my trades, as well as access to my portfolio. And we have a Foundation Investors Club coming soon. There will be more about that because this will give everybody a chance to maybe get into some investments that I do within the Web3 community. Now, let me kind of break this down. Diamond Circle, of course, you get everything, which is primarily the email and some early access to videos. That's the main thing you get with us on Diamond Circle, which is good. You also get access to the community, which is our own Discord style community that you guys can log into, and it's right there on the website. Market Movers is just straightforward. You get the index charts, the MSI index charts. You also get the overlay on, which is the indicator on your trading view. We'll show that today. And then Foundation, you get all of that stuff. And then you also get access directly to me, which is in our group. And one thing I've noticed is that a lot of people don't use that as much as they should, because I'm in there at least every day. And if people are asking questions, if I have an answer for it, then I'm usually going to respond to it. So it's a really good spot to check that. Also, we have some future perks coming. We have an NFT program coming that's going to have some special benefits. We also have a Foundation Investors Club coming soon. So be checking all that. Anyway, all this is going to be happening right now. I will tell everybody, if you are catching this outside the membership, maybe the video is out now on YouTube, you can get into these at a very special discount because they're coming, I think, for the fall event. It's going to be the end of October, and there's going to be a really good discount. So check it out. Go from there. Let's go into the markets a little bit, and I want to open up with a couple of things right here. We're going to talk about Bitcoin in general. And one thing in general around Bitcoin, if you look at this tweet right here, it has been a little bit of a slow weekend. We'll take a look at the charts here in a second. Many people are still potentially looking at crypto as being a very volatile scenario that's going to play out during the election. Now, if you look at the current data on the elections, we'll just use Polymarket as an example. Right now, Trump, of course, is leading significantly at 65% over 34.8. This is by far the lowest that Harris has had. And the key thing here, if you're not aware of American politics, is these things right here. They're called swing states. And these swing states are super, super critical. In the popular vote, Trump is climbing, but still not expected to win the popular vote. We'll find out if that actually happens. And if Polymarket is correct there at its current state. But right now, Trump has all these swing states, at least I should say. This is not a poll. This is a predictive betting market that's just based on how people who are putting bets down, and this is how the bets are resulting. But most of these swing states are showing very positively for Trump right now. So this is a lot right now, I think, that will have an impact on the crypto markets. It's going to have an impact also on the traditional markets in general. I think if you look at what's happening with not only Trump's policies, but the idea of what this could bring to Congress, which is at least a president that is not going to deny or push back on a lot of these crypto innovations. Now, granted, Harris has claimed that she would potentially go this direction, but there's been no real constructive program. And I think the reason for that is because her handlers don't want her to, and at the end of the day, they just don't want them to. If you look at the ETF, the flows are coming in pretty heavily as well. U.S. Bitcoin ETF purchase now 5 times more than Bitcoin miners produced in a week. A couple of points within that that I'll highlight here. This was October 21st through the 25th, so just this last week. This is the 11 spot Bitcoin ETFs. They bought a combined 15,194 Bitcoin. That's nearly 5 times the 3,150 that were mined during that period. So there is a lot of people out there selling their Bitcoin right now. We're not talking about new Bitcoin. This is a lot of people selling Bitcoin at this point, which is really what has held the price, I think, to where it has been over this last little bit. And then further in the article says the aggressive buying has brought ETF issuers. This is a combined Bitcoin holdings close to the 1 million mark, and this is as of the 25th October. Bitcoin issuers collectively held almost 977,122. So about just 22,000 short of the $1 million threshold. BlackRock has the biggest reserve, holding almost 403,000. So that's about 2% of Bitcoin's total supply too. I know that everybody has been talking about Saylor's issue, and I agree. I think a lot of this, when you take a look at where Bitcoin is in general, a lot of this has been somewhat indicative of where Saylor has been. I'll look at the chart real quickly. And as you can see right now, a couple of days slightly up on Bitcoin as it's trading at 67.5 at time of recording. The key here is that the metrics for our MSI, and remember, this MSI, if you guys are not aware, this, let me kind of break down the MSI. So we have these trailing stop indicators right here still showing somewhat bullish sign. Market money flow coming in right down here, as you can see. And then this section right here is our sentiment. And of course, the sentiment is breaking in on trade value sentiment, volume sentiment, net volume sentiment, and then the overall. If you get those all in green, and depending on how much over 50% they are, like right now, net volume sentiment, let me see if I can get in on this and zoom up for you guys a little bit. You can see it right there. Net volume sentiment hovering at around 66%. That's pretty good, actually, with Bitcoin. It could mean that we've got a potential here where we could end up closing on a green candle again today. So that would be really great if we do that. This is on Sunday being recorded. So you look at those kind of scenarios and the indicators here that are lying within the MSI. Bitcoin is still trending up. So that's the good sign. And if you look at gold and where it has been, we had a big article, a big interview this week with Andy Schechner. Go back and watch that. And he was talking about this right here is gold price. You look at where gold price has been over the last really 60 days, almost straight up. However, it's starting to flatten up a little bit right here around that 2,700 mark, which is really one of those areas being an all-time high that it has not been able to crack. So we'll see if it is being able to blast through and get to 3,000, which is where Schechner thinks this is going to go. I want to take a look at some other tokens out here. Of course, everybody's been asking about ETH. ETH in general, I think is, though it has regressed over the last week back down to 2,400, can it maintain this range bound that we've been watching for quite some time? You know, you look at scenarios that have been within this range. And I think one of the things that you have to look at with ETH is the fact that it has yet to really break out from what we think could be an opportunity. I still think that Ethereum is solid, but I just don't know if it is the bet I'm making for some of these altcoins. I want to go over to this topic right here, which I think is important. And this is Kruger, Alex Kruger. He's talking about basically taking ETH off the board. So he's in a position right now where he looks at the escape velocity of Solana, really, if you consider. So he's now, the trader says he's scratched off ETH in favor of Sol and some other opportunities. That's almost the position I'm in right now. Now, would I trade out of ETH today and move to Sol? I don't know. I'd have to really give that some consideration because ETH is such a large position within my portfolio, as is Sol and Avalanche and a handful of others. So, by the way, if you guys are a foundation member, you do get access to my my full portfolio of what I'm trading on. So that in itself is worth it, I think, because I usually publish it and update it every week to 2 weeks to give you guys some insights on that. But the Solana, if we go back over and look at the Solana chart, It is the one token who has been able to really, over this last few weeks, continue an upward trend. It has almost recovered its local high, which was around 178. All of this showing good metrics right now, but money flow is starting to level out, and that's after that big red day we saw on Friday. Saturday was a green candle. Sunday here we've recaptured. So we're trading at 176 right now, which is pretty good. And I think we're going to continue to see an upward trend here with Solana. My anticipation with Solana is I do think that this thing starts to go into this next order block, which is going to be at around 185, 184. That's where I'm looking at this. So even if you were looking at a short trade, this might be one that you could go into. Again, not financial advice, but this is more of how I would do it. I'm looking for potential entry points on Solana. If Solana were to come back down anywhere under that 160 range, and we got really close right here, then I would probably be in on a trade looking at a $200 Solana being in the cards maybe by the end of the year. In the bull run, I still think Solana is a 5x from that 200. So I still think it's a $1,000 token. I know that a lot of people are just saying you're crazy, but that's where I'm sitting right now, only because of how the market is looking at it. Avalanche, same kind of scenario. I think this one is way undervalued right now. And this is the one that I think may have the most to gain as it continues this sideways action. You had that nice trend up. It's held that, $30 to around $24 range for a little bit of time. But I think we might be on a nice trend here right now as you look to that. Now, we're kind of out here in no man's land between some order blocks. Sentiment is not holding right now, so I am looking at Avalanche where it may retrace again back down to maybe the $24 zone. We'll see how that plays out on Avalanche for sure. Other ones that I want to take a look at today, Matic. I have exited my position on Matic completely. This is my kind of no-fly zone, and it absolutely crashed through it. It has not been able to recover. And, can Matic, yes, can it recover? And is this maybe a good buy if you've never purchased Matic and you look at it and say, well, maybe this would be a position. Let me go to the weekly here just to give you an example of where Matic is. I mean, literally, we are talking Matic going back to the potential beginning, which was around 30 cents. So I just don't see the opportunity here, at least in the short play, unless they get a flyer on some major news. And this continues. Look at these red candles. Let me show you just over the last few weeks. But let's go back to the daily real quick. Daily on Matic. Let me exit out of this real quick and move in out of that. All right. Well, we'll get there in a second. Now we are. So Matic daily on this right here. This daily right here from 35 to where we drop down here to almost 31. And then the recovery right around this. But remember, people wicked out at around 30 cents on Matic. So this is, again, negative sentiment painting up. Trade sentiment is high just because of what's happening right now. Money flow is dripping out. We'll see if this can hold. Other tokens, of course, to watch. I want to take a look at Hedera. This is one that might pull back off of the floor. They made an announcement this week that I thought was pretty weak. This is filling an order block, but it is still negative sentiment, and that is something I do not like. So negative sentiment right now painting in a big way. And if you look at some of the major tokens, I'll just go down the list here that are in there. Chainlink holding right now somewhat positive sentiment, but trade sentiment is a little low. Money flow is steady though. I think this may bounce off of this range right here around 10 to 11 bucks. So be on the look there. Near Protocol, I don't like this one right now, the way it's playing out. This has some potential bad news of a downward trend on Near, and all of its sentiment data is negative right now. So I don't see that one as a potential. Some that I am kind of still looking at long term. IMX, if you can get back into this one, if it does recoil, it's still an upward trend, but it started to break through this trend line. And I think this is one of those, if you look at this trend line right here, we are literally starting to bust into its area of lower lows. And I think that, or I should say lower highs. And I think that's one thing with IMX. If we don't get this recovered off around $1.32, $1.30, then IMX could be time to reconsider and either take losses or take profits, whichever position you guys are in. Everybody's been asking about Render. Sideways forever. Render could be one of those that I still think has a potential. I don't know if it's a 10x token any longer. And that's mainly because of its, of its growth over a long period of time. Look where Render has come from. I mean, these are entry points that we did way back here in last year. And, when you're entering at 19 cents, and if you're still in Render at this point right now, maybe this is the time to take some profits and maybe look for some new alternatives. SWE, of course, has absolutely been on fire. It has retraced, but it only retraced down to $1.76. And I think that is a very interesting area, because these are all very brand new areas for where many of these tokens have been reporting. And let me reload the page here and see if we can get SWE to paint up here. Let's go back down to SWE and see if we can get, yeah, we don't have enough data right now on this, mainly because of the trade data. So we'll continue to look at that for our indicator to work. Sometimes on the indicator, you won't get trade data just because there's not enough of it. So you can kind of see one right here. This, of course, is Flow. Flow all sideways. This is another token that I'm a little concerned about. However, it could still break out. There's still a lot of opportunity there, but it's still holding a negative position. Many people would say this might be a good entry for Flow, because look at the last time it had really been in this area. This was back all the way into October 23. If we get another run on Flow, this could be one of those tokens that does get, a 7 to 10x run. Others to watch that I still think have some potential. We got to do a video on Caspa. Let me know what you guys think, if we should do a breakdown on this. Caspa has been one of those tokens that's been a little unusual. It has been riding for a while. This is October last year. Let's see what the range on that was. If you were in last October, nice 180%. Not that great. Not that great. Of course, gold is the one we're going to continue to watch as it gets into these dollar points. And this last range, we were looking at range zones of these highs. This is the kind of high that this one had done. And if you go to the weekly, I'll show you something on gold. We did 3 ranges right here. So last 3 bull runs for gold, 638% right here, which ran it up to a high in August of 2011. Then you had a 93%, which ran it up to a high right there in August of 20. Then where we are right now, which is this zone right here, if you go down to this low, which was back in October 22, to where it is today, around 69% holding. So it's slowly, now it doesn't mean that this run is over for gold, but I'm just showing that it is reducing in terms of performance. That's a big one as well. As we get into some of the other tokens out there, many people ask about some of the meme coins that I still own Brett. I like this one. It has been able to recover. This is the weekly. I'll go back to the daily. And we'll show you guys some things right here. If you can kind of take this nice little move right here, has been pretty decent for Brett, even though I don't know if we'll get another one of these. This was just vertical as crazy. But Brett's still holding. Mobile token, I'm not sure that I'm going to stay in this. I'm very disappointed with Helium and what Solana has done and been able to do around mobile token. This tells me that we're not getting the kind of signups that they should be getting, and that's something I don't understand, because this is a great service. I use it, Helium Mobile. It's an amazing service, but they really need to start moving on it. Dexalot has been one I've been watching very closely. It could really start to, we had a couple of moves here that we've been trading in and out of Dexalot. That's one that has kind of been in and out. And then, of course, MT, this is another one that has been kind of sideways on this. I still think Mantle might have a chance here to do something special. Others, of course, did everybody see the Mudang move? Look at that. That was basically because of the Binance listing, but still pretty huge. I want to jump over to Shiba and talk about this, because Shiba Inu, $2 trillion, in 24 hours. So this is interesting. Is and are we going to get a move on something in early week? Is there going to be an announcement here? And I don't know. This is the point with a lot of these meme coins. Shiba's an older meme coin, much like Doge, that have an opportunity to really kind of get a spark. And if you look at this chart right here, let me kind of zoom in on that. Nice little move here over this last little bit of time. This is about mid-September when this started moving to where we are here, late October. But look at that high right there. I mean, that's not a bad little position. Could it be setting up for something big? Don't know. Back to Poly Market. I want to just give you guys one more last look at this. This, of course, is the indicator that I think is one we got to keep an eye on because as Poly Market starts to get closer, the election starts to get closer, Poly Market will start to get very erratic and adjust dramatic. If everybody watched when Walz was being bet on for against Pete Buttigieg, it was Buttigieg in the lead, kind of, and then Walz came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden it was that boom. Within like 6 hours, 8 hours of it, Walz was the candidate. So on election day, November 5th, especially that night, this is where it's going to get super, super interesting as we start to get data coming in on that. All right, just as a reminder, if everybody is not visiting the website, make sure and go over to paulbaronnetwork.com. You can, of course, catch all things there from the blog. If you don't catch some of our content, this is a great tool because it'll take you right over to all of the latest videos quickly. You can subscribe to this. It's over on the Substack if you like. It's very easy to get to, so just click it right there, blog. And also the market indicator, if you're brand new and you're maybe just sitting in the diamond circle and you caught this video after, because the way we release these videos, here's the way it works, is the MSI, which is the market movers subscribers, and the foundation members get this very first. So it goes out to them. Often we'll drop it into the community before it goes even out in email. Then it goes out in email, and then a day later, it goes out to all of that community on YouTube. Or in the email. And then eventually it makes it over on YouTube, and that's the cycle. So these are where you're going to get these early kind of scenarios, just like some of the exits that we've been talking about, and then also some of the potential entries. We talked about a Sol entry today and an exit on Matic. Those are the big ones to kind of keep an eye on. And of course, if you guys aren't subscribed, make sure and get subscribed right now. And by the way, PBN now hitting 6,000 subs, coming up fast. So we are going to make it. This is our push to 1 million. So if you're catching this and you don't subscribe to the YouTube channel, come on, guys. This is the #1 thing. You got to do it. All right, we'll catch you guys later. Take care out there.